Hello, I'm Tim Moody. I'm President and CEO of Pan Global Resources. We have an advanced copper discovery in southern Spain. It's copper, the right metal, right location, and watch this space. We've just put out some really good news in the last week.
You have, and that's what I'm calling, which is that you have secured surface right access. What does it mean?
Yeah, so we had our mineral rights granted some 4 years ago in the Escacena project, which is our main focus. And anyway, this was a large farm that we've never been able to get access to. So it's 12% of our project area, which is a pretty big chunk of ground. But most importantly, it's the western extension of our copper tin silver discovery called La Romana. It's really held us back from defining how big this thing could be, it's held us back from potentially putting out a resource. So that's one aspect to it. The second is just the size of the area is a very large area that hasn't been explored since, certainly it hasn't been explored by us since the area was granted, but it hasn't been explored since the early 1980s. So we've got 3 other big targets in this area as well. So, this is a big deal for us.
Okay, it's a big deal, but you still kind of got to do the things that, junior explorers need to do, which is say, right, you've got the grade, which you're showing like 1.2%, from a press release, about a month ago. You've got to show scale. So again, coming back to, there's a 680 hectare area that you're talking about. So what are you actually going to do to take advantage of this access that you've been given?
Yeah, well, the first thing we had people on the ground the day after we signed the access agreement. So we've got a team in there today. We've got geophysics underway. We've got people doing sampling and mapping, all of that sort of thing. The drill rig shouldn't be far behind. Really the key thing is this has given us access to our highest priority target. And now that we've got the access there, we can see potential based on a historical gravity data set which showed a big anomaly underneath some old mine workings, that we can see the potential to extend the mineralization a further 800 to 1,000 meters on top of the 1.2 kilometers of near surface, outcropping in places, copper mineralization. So, this is really going to leapfrog us both in size, but also towards putting out a resource sometime, perhaps early next year.
Right. Okay. So resource to give people a sense of the scale of the new opportunity ahead of you. But to do that, you're going to need capital. How much cash have you got?
Yeah. So at the moment we've got all the geophysics and the sampling and so on. That's all covered within this year's budget. We approved a 20,000 metre program this year. So the first 25 to 30 holes that we've laid out already on this new area, which we call Romana West, that's within the current budget. It's about 6,000 metres of drilling. We have the advantage that this is mineralisation that comes to surface. So we're looking at 6 lines, fences of drill holes, 100 metres apart, which are going to help see if the mineralisation continues further along strike, where we've already defined it. So, and it may continue beyond that. So at this stage, it's fully funded the program.
Right, and if I'm looking at your grades, somewhere between 1 and 1.2, some of the indications that your early indications that you're giving us, right? So that's 3 times the average global grade at the moment. So the grade is there. You've got a 20,000 meter drill program laid out and fully funded. What are the decisions that you've got to make to work out how far you take this, this year? Do you, expand the campaign? Because if I look at the global market, it's a bit tough out there for equities. So there's a certain pace at which you got to work at.
Yeah.
Does your plan change for this year? Do you reduce it?
Well, at the moment, we're still going hard. We've had 3 drill rigs operating for most of this year. We've got 2 operating right at the moment. We'll look to increase that again. So at the moment, we're not stopping. I mean, the best thing we could do at the moment is one prove that this extension is real, And the other thing that we're really keen to do is find something else. So we're trying to keep the exploration going elsewhere in the area, not only within this bigger area we've just got access to, but more broadly within the project area. And so I think our prospects of making another discovery on one of the other targets is still very real and something we should continue to pursue.
Right. Okay. And sorry to kind of go on about this a bit, but it's just the amount of companies that I speak to, the amount of juniors who are like cash constrained, they're finding it difficult to raise capital. Certainly, cheap money, and the money that they do raise seems to be going into keeping the lights on rather than advancing the project. So it's kind of unusual for me to speak to companies at the moment in this environment. But you've got the cash. Clearly, you've funded. Did you? I don't think you gave me an actual number there. You said you're fully funded for this year. So what are we sitting on at the moment?
Well, the last financials were about 8.9 million. That was the end of January. We finished the calendar year last year with about a bit over 10 million in the bank, and our budget for this year is 8.5. So we've still got money, and we're a bit under budget as things stand at the moment. But I mean, it's something to point out though. Our costs are really low, relative to many other parts of the world. Most of our employees in Spain live within 20 kilometres of the projects. There's no fly in, fly out. You can drive up to most of the drill sites. Drill costs are very competitive. And because it's shallow drilling, we're not blowing half our budget on super deep drill holes. So really, it's good bang for a buck. And at the moment, we're sitting in, I think we're looking at over 80% of our money is going into the ground, into our projects, which is I think excellent.
Well, exceptional. So talk to me about the surface access rights again, because obviously, you're in a kind of European ecosystem for this EV revolution we're all talking about, and hopefully you're one of the ones that can sort of supply into that, but. How's it actually on the ground? You've got surface access from this farm, but are the locals kind of pro mining? Do they understand mining? Are there any roadblocks that you need to kind of navigate your way around?
Yeah, I think there's probably two sides to that. One is we're in a mining area. I mean, this is the Iberian Pyrite Belt, particularly where we are, is a historically important mining area. The nearest town is built on the edge of an open pit, the Astacoya open pit. The mayor is a mine. So, we're in the right neighbourhood from that. But then there are farmers, most of the area is private land, and there are farmers there that haven't had mining on their land. So, their decisions are, okay, they see a mining company come in, do they continue to invest in their farm, or do they let you in, or these sorts of things. So these are discussions we have to have. And this is part of the reason why it's taken us a few years to get this access agreement, is that we've had to go through a long process to, get to where we've got to at the moment. And hopefully, as we've done and shown with other access agreements with other farmers, that we've been able to build that trust and build a good relationship. And I don't see any difference with this new area. So
right,
it's a bit of a situation, really.
Yeah, no, and again, just want to stick on the European thing, because we kind of covered off a lot of the activities and your plans, etc. when we spoke back in April. This was I wanted to kind of understand how you take advantage of this kind of surface access, because it's such a big area, and it sounds like the drill plan is in place, which is great. But just in terms of this European ecosystem thing again, right? You're saying that locally support's there, and you've got to go through the process, and it's taken a while to kind of get here. But bigger than that, EV ecosystem in Europe, hundreds of billions of euros being allocated and deployed, funds available for base metal companies in Europe. Have you guys looked at any kind of other support available for companies like yourselves, if not locally, more broadly across Europe? Because the demand is outweighing the supply fundamentals at this moment, it seems. So how's Europe looking in terms of certain conversations that you've been in?
I think having copper this time is a really big plus. Europe, unlike many other parts of the world, Europe's still showing growth. They're still, they're heading in the right direction there in terms of building infrastructure and so on. but more importantly, they're the fast adopters of electrification. Spain is one of the leaders in solar power. They have a high proportion of alternative energy supply, particularly in the area where we are. There's solar farms everywhere. But copper is going to be recognised in the European Union, given now that copper is on the critical mineral list, as something that's going to be essential for Europe to meet its goals as well. So I think we're in a great location for that. And look, the support you're talking about from the European Union, at least from the having copper on the critical minerals list, is something we're still working through. Where can that really help add value for us? It's all well and good putting it on the list, but what can you do with it? Well, some of the things are areas, there's tax incentives, talking about streamlining the permitting process. So if we take a project from the exploration stage through to a mining permit, that's going to be really important for us, and then allowing mining to proceed. So there's going to be real benefits on that, because having something on the critical list raises its priority within the government. The tax incentives, that will be a direct advantage, but there are other things like lending, low-cost financing is one of the options. There's funding for research, things like perhaps clean processing technology, lower energy use technology, and so on. All these modern things that would be hard for a junior to finance, but perhaps we can benefit from some of those areas as well. But then look, there's no doubt a long list of areas where we can benefit from.
Yeah,
we are with a local the mining group, mining association called Moody, working with mining companies, producers at the moment. So we're one of the few exploration companies sitting at the table. In fact, we may be the only exploration company at the table with the miners, where one of the pieces of work is looking at where this critical minerals initiative in Europe is going to benefit the mining industry on a macro scale, infrastructure and so on. And so there may be some bigger benefits there.
Yeah, so it seems to be coming down the line for sure. Just before we go,
on the infrastructure side of things,
absolutely,
that could be very helpful. Putting in more electricity grids and so on, helping with other infrastructure. I think those are the sort of real benefits that could come from the green push, let's say.
Yeah, like I say, I think it's all coming down the line and coming down quickly. Just one thing before I let you go, from this update, which is around drill results. Obviously, you kind of got a program laid out, etc. How are those going to come through quicker than they have been? Have you found it's you're able to actually get results quicker than before?
Well, certainly there's been a pickup in the turnaround time from the last 2 years. There's starting to be a much more regular flow. We're returning to the old days of results every 3 weeks and so on. But look, some of the results we're fast tracking as well. So we're conscious we want to keep the news flow going. As you know, we've had 3 drill rigs operating for most of the year. And we've got 2 currently operating. So we've got results pending for about 20 drill holes at the moment. Hopefully some pretty nice, good results to come from that. And then of course we've got the drilling to come on this new area, the extensions of Lara, Romana West. With a bit of luck, we'll have drill rigs turning on that target within next 3 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks. So that's we're not waiting around. So plenty of news to come through.